Do the people in India not eat beef? Do they not drink alcohol? Nope. With a population of 1.4 billion, what exactly do the Indian consumers enjoy and indulge in? With 10 ethnic groups, 20 languages, 3,000 dialects, and 28 states with different diets, India is a diverse country. It's also described as a country where the 15th and 21st centuries merge. Breaking it down into North India and South India makes it a little easier to understand. Up north, where the capital lies, is the epicenter of politics and culture. When you hear about India in the news, it's mostly about the north. The major industry there is tourism, and you've got iconic cultural heritage sites like the Taj Mahal, Hawa Mahal, and the Jantar Mantar. They're concentrated up there. Now, down south, it's a whole different story. With its coastal proximity, it has thrived in trade. You've got a diverse mix of industries such as IT, finance, and manufacturing spread out evenly. While politics and culture may be centered in the north, it's a peculiar situation where the wealth seems to be concentrated down south. Go figure. When you dig into the records, my friends, it becomes even more crystal clear. Southern India boasts lower infant mortality rates and higher vaccination coverage. School years are getting longer and literacy rates are rising. Just like those advanced nations, they've got low birth rates too. When it comes to essential social infrastructure like healthcare, welfare, and education, they seem to have it more fulfilled down south compared to their counterparts up north. Oh, and let's not forget the weather. Down south, it's pleasantly cool and makes for a delightful stay. So here's the situation. From a certain angle, southern India seems to be getting the short end of the stick. They're the ones raking in the dough, but their population keeps shrinking. And you know what happens then? The tax money starts flowing northward. So folks down in southern India might be thinking, hold on a second, am I working my tail off just to fund the lifestyles of those folks up north? Can't say I blame them. And here's the kicker. Not only are they feeling the financial pinch, but their political clout is taking a hit too. They're already lacking a solid political foundation, and now their representation in the parliament is dwindling. It's like a double whammy. So you start hearing some voices down south saying, hey, let's go all independent, just us southern folks. But let's be real, the chances of that actually happening are pretty slim. You see, there isn't a concrete and cohesive identity or unity when it comes to defining southern India. Some experts even describe it like this. The north is young and impoverished, while the south is elderly and affluent. The two regions also have different languages, with Hindi being the dominant language in the north and Telugu, Tamil, and other languages in the south. This means that people from the same country often find it difficult to communicate with each other. According to EF's data, English proficiency is in the same league as South Korea and Vietnam. It can be interpreted that you can use English for business mail without much difficulty. Food is also different. The north is largely based on bread, the south is based on rice. The south has a strong seafood cuisine due to its proximity to the coast. In general, chicken is the most expensive meat available, with chicken being more expensive than beef and pork. Beef is eaten by 300 million people of other religions in India, aside from Hindus, who make up 80% of the population. But it's from buffalo, not the cows we commonly eat. Cow is sacred in Hinduism, so slaughter is prohibited. Alcohol is not consumed in Islam, but it is consumed in Hinduism. The younger generation enjoys beer, they like rum, and they drink penny, which is a traditional Indian drink. They tend to use a lot of spicy or uniquely flavored spices in their cooking. They cook for a long time to allow the spices to infuse the food. A common spice used in India is masala, which is widely used in both north and south. With vegetarians making up 40% of the population, vegetarian diet is also well developed. Another common feature is the family-centered culture, where the opinions and preferences of family members strongly influence consumption decisions. In particular, the preferences of the female members of the household are more likely to sway decisions. It's not uncommon to see grandmothers and mothers carrying keys around their waists, controlling access to rooms and controlling access to necessities and consumer goods. This is why in several Indian movies you'll find narratives of young men leaving for the big city because they can't stand their grandmother's interference. Let's focus on records a bit more. On the positive side, first in the world in domestic market size by purchasing power, first in ICT services exports, 8th in financial support for startup scale-ups, 11th in science and engineering graduates. On the negative side, 103rd in employment of highly educated women, 115th for ecological sustainability, 94th for policies for running a business, 114th for new business startups. To summarize, we can say that India is getting there in terms of technology, education, and domestic demand, but the policies and social environment are not keeping up. And finally, wealth inequality, according to the BBC, the Indian Express, and Oxfam. Over 40% of the wealth created in India goes to just 1% of the population, with the bottom 50% living on 3% of the total wealth. Next up are the United States and Italy.